In this video, we're going to be reacting to a girl talking about the power of feminine communication. Let's see.
Communicating from your feminine energy from an ex-psycho. I used to be so crazy, like unhinged, super reactive, ready to jump down anybody's throat who crossed me. So I have 5 tips for you, and these are in chronological order.
All right, so before we go into that, right, I love the journey and the self-development and so on, and the acknowledgement of how you can grow when you embody your feminine energy. And the other thing I'll also say quickly is that the signs she said are, or the traits she said before, are signs that you are in your wounded feminine energy. I talk about this in my book, Healing the Feminine Energy.
Tip number 1 is the 24-hour rule. When something makes you upset, do not react right away. Don't tweet about it. Don't talk to your friends about it even. Give yourself 24 hours to process your emotions. Talking to your friends thing is really important because sometimes we can gas each other up to like be angry. And also you don't want to like taint the way that people look at your relationship.
Patience. That's what I'm seeing in this. The ability to, you know, not just react, but you're responding. That's actually an important part of what I talk to men about when, you know, we talk about masculine development, but it could benefit women too. Don't react, respond.
Waiting 24 hours before addressing the issue allows you to center yourself, gather your emotions, collect your thoughts, and communicate effectively. If you go into this conversation, tip number 2 is about your mindset. Go into this conversation, literally tell yourself, I am coming from a place of understanding this person. They are not you. They are not inside of your brain. So you need to make a consistent effort to understand them. And by doing that, it also shows them that you're mature enough to have those types of conversations, that they can be open and honest with you. And it will actually make them be like that as well.
And you know what? That's what I'm saying. This is how we understand that being in your feminine energy and understanding communication helps you to get what you want, which ultimately benefits you. It's coming from a place of maturity, which gives you power. And one way to do that is in understanding other people, not just thinking me, but the feminine is able to understand.
Tip number 3, do not make assumptions. This kind of ties into what I was just saying. Like, you don't know what goes on inside their head. You don't know why they do things the way that they do them or why they do what they do. And men think differently than women. Tip number 4.
And a quick one on that, right? Doesn't that apply to so many women? You know, jumping to conclusions is what most women actually do. But when you mature up, you don't just jump to conclusions. You use your intuition, of course, but that's different to jumping to conclusions. You feel, you understand, you be patient, you look from their perspective and so on, and then you make a conclusion.
Tip number 4 is inquire. Ask questions. And this is also the assumption thing. Like, don't go and make accusatory statements. Try to figure out why they did what they did. So let's say if he was flirting with a girl and it made you upset, instead of saying you were flirting with that girl, that made me upset. I feel disrespected, blah, 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 blah. No, ask him. So who's that girl last night? Like, inquire, try to figure out who this person is, why they were talking to her. Let him explain, let him lead, let him be in his masculine energy where he's able to communicate with you. And this might actually make you go, oh, maybe I was reading into the situation too much, because we all have trauma. We all have our past issues and situations.
That actually makes a little bit of sense. I personally would approach it a little bit different to how she proposed, but at the same time, giving the other person the opportunity to state their case, you know, stops you from assuming and then feeling a type of way before you've even got the facts. So I can appreciate that.
And the final tip that I have today is forgive. This is huge, and sometimes this is really hard depending on what happened, but when we forgive, it is fully accepting that person for who they are and loving them. This is about taking a step back, understanding, forgiving. You know, my sister had a situation with her boyfriend recently, and I told her, I said, you know, if you're going to stay with him, you need to forgive him. You need to accept the reality of the situation. And going forward, you cannot allow this to affect your relationship. Being in your feminine energy is about acceptance and understanding.
I love that. I love that. And so many people don't understand the power of accepting, understanding, forgiving, and so on. But I want you to know, right? When we think about God, and this is why these qualities are aligned with divine feminine energy, when we think of God, when we research God, when we read about God in different religions, God is always, I don't want to say a character, but a being that is known as being forgiving and understanding. There is power in that. There's maturity in that. So I definitely understand what she's saying. For the most part, I definitely agree, but I also want to know what you think, right? So comment down below and let Reemus know. We'll see you in the next video. Oh, actually, before I go, you know, I just realized, if you do want assistance in embodying your feminine energy, then check out my book. You see here, it's called Nurturing Your Feminine Energy and the Rise of Divine Femininity. It goes into the qualities of the empowered woman, the importance of nurturing yourself and others, creativity, sisterhood, connecting to nature, and so on, right? So go to the link in my bio or go on to Amazon where you can purchase the book. So, yep, purchase the book. See you in the next video. Peace.